Alright, so this is I'm going to walk you through 4.3 worksheet. This is your homework over the weekend. I want you to do 1 through 9. So 1 through 9. I think I said 1 through 8 in class, but you need to do 1 through 9. So let's read the directions. It says graph and describe the difference between the graph and the parent function. So what we're going to do is use two different colors, and you're going to need to do that as well on your worksheet. So you can use a pen or a marker or whatever, because we're going to graph, for each of these we're going to graph the function, and then we also have to graph the parent function, and then we have to describe the difference between the graphs. So let's get started. So obviously you'll need graph paper. Alright, so first we have this function. Write this function down. F of x equals x plus 5. That's a fancy way of just saying y equals x plus 5. So now the slope of this line is 1, and the y-intercept is 5, up 5. So that means we start at 0, 5 to start graphing the line. So we're going to go up to 5. I think it's there, 0, 5. And our slope is 1, which means 1 over 1. So rise over run, up 1 over 1. And then we can go backwards and go down 1, back 1, down 1, back 1. So there we have this line. So draw arrows. And now that is the function y equals, or f of x equals x plus 5. So you want to label each line. Then get your other color. And now we're going to graph the parent function. And the parent function is y equals x. And I went over this in the other video. So what this means is you have a slope of 1 and you have a y-intercept of 0. If you simplify this parent function, it looks like that. So the y-intercept would be 0, and the parent function is always the same. So this is the parent function. You start and put a point at 0, 0, and your slope is 1, which means you go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and so on. And then if you draw a line through it, it'll be right there. So this is the parent function, and we're going to draw this on every single graph. So that's y equals x. So now we have to describe the difference between the parent function and this function. So you can see there are parallel lines. They have the same slope. This is a slope of 1, that's a slope of 1. So the only difference is that this line right here is shifted up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is shifted up. And the reason we know that is because of the y-intercept says plus 5. So that means we've shifted this line up. So that's what you write down. So shift up 5 units. That's how you would write the difference. That's the difference in the two graphs. Alright, we're going to do the same thing for all of these. So now I have a function here, y equals x minus 3. So I have a slope of 1, and I have a b of negative 3. That means I start my graph at 0, negative 3. So I'll put a point right here at 0, negative 3. My slope is 1, which means up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and so on. So I can draw a line right here, and then I label the line. And now I need to draw the parent function. And remember, the parent function is y equals x, where the slope is 1 and the y-intercept is 0. So this would be the rise of 1, a slope of 1. So this is going to be the parent function, which we also label as y equals x. So there's our two lines. We have to describe the difference in this one right here. Remember, they're parallel because they have the same slope, so that means the only difference in the line is that it's shifted down 3. And we know that because this is x minus 3, that's the y-intercept. So we'll write that down. It's shifted down 3. That's the difference between the parent function and this function, 3 units. Shifted down 3 units. All right, you can try the next one on your own if you know what to do, or just follow along. So here is my function, h of x equals x plus 2, so write that down. It's the same thing as y equals x plus 2. Here's my slope again is 1, my y-intercept is 2, and so I have 0, 2 is where I'll start. So I'll start here, and my slope is 1, so up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And then I label this as y equals x plus 2. And then I go and draw my parent function, and the parent function is y equals x, which is right here. It's always the same. So here's my parent function, which is y equals x. And then I have to describe the difference. Again, same slope, so the only difference is that it is shifted up 2 places, and we know that because of the plus 2 right there. So we'll just write that down. Shift up 2 units. Okay, let's go to number 4. Okay, write this function down. P of x equals x minus 1. So again, I have a slope of 1, and I have a y-intercept of -1. So that means I will start my graph at 0, -1, which is right there. Since my slope is 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So I draw my line, and I can label this as P of x. I'm just going to use P of x this time instead of y. So that's that function. And then I'm going to graph the parent function, which is right here at 0. And it always has a slope of 1. So, not perfect, but there is y equals x. And the difference is that is a shift down 1 unit. So hopefully you're understanding this and seeing that these are just shifts. Now we will get into some that are a little bit different. So let's look at number 5. Number 5 is different. So now we don't have a slope of 1. So let's see what we do have. So this is y equals 2x, or m of x equals 2x. And this one, my slope is 2. And remember when I said this is when this x is alone that you have a 0 there that we don't write. But if I write it in, I can see that my b, my y-intercept, is going to be 0, which means we will begin this, graphing this at 0, 0. So now this is where we start, and we're going to use a slope of 2, which is the same thing as 2 over 1. Excuse me. So we're going to rise 2, and then run 1, put a point. Then we're going to rise 2, and then run 1, and put a point. And if we do it again, we'll be right there. I can also go backwards and go down 2 and to the left 1. So I'm going to put a point, I'm sorry, not a point, but a line right there. And that's going to be my line that is y equals 2x, or m of x is equal to 2x. Now I'm going to take my different color and I'm going to do that parent function that we did before. And it's going to go right on top. So there we go at 0, 0. And then we have a rise of 1, run of 1, rise 1, slope of 1, let's just say that. And then I'm going to graph it all the way down. So this is going to be my parent function right here. And now I will label that as y equals x, my parent function. And then I have to compare the black line, the function of y equals 2x, to the parent function. And I can see the biggest difference, since it goes through the same origin, is that the line is steeper. So it is steeper than the parent function. Steeper than parent function, and that's what you should write. And you should be able to understand what steepness means. It just means that this is going up faster than the other one. All right, let's see number 6. All right, so we have p of x equals -4x, so write that down. and then I have a slope of -4. And remember, this is plus 0, so that means my b is 0. And that we're going to start our graph at 0, 0. So I'm going to start that here, 0, 0. And my slope is -4 over 1. So -4 over 1 means I'm going to go down 4. That's my rise. And then I go to the right 1. And I can't do that again, I'll go off the graph. So I'm going to do this backwards, and I'm going to do a +4 over -1, which means I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, but then I'm going to go backwards for -1. So now I have a line that looks like that, and that's going to be p of x equals -4x. That's my line. Now I want to get my other color and graph the parent function. And the parent function starts at here, and it has a slope of 1. And we've done this several times, so you should know what it looks like by this point. And I'm going to draw a line through it. And here I have a function y equals x. Alright, so if we are going to compare the function, we need to see that this line, the black line, is now going to be it's a steeper line because of the slope is -4, so it's steeper, but instead of it being an increasing line, it's what we call a decreasing line. There is no shift at all, but it is steeper and it is decreasing. That's the difference that we want to note. This is an increasing line. This would be a decreasing line. From left to right, it is decreasing. Okay, so we have 3 more. So write this problem down. Here we have h of x equals 1/3 x. So we're going to graph that. So we have a slope now of 1/3, and we have a b of 0. And so we're going to start this graph at 0, 0. That would be the y-intercept. So start here. And now I'm going to go up 1 and then over 3. Rise of 1 over 3. And then I can also go backwards. So I can make the slope be -1 over -3, which means I would go down, rise down, and then go back 3. So I would put a point right there. So that just kind of helps me to be able to go backwards and forwards when I'm graphing. So now I have h of x is equal to 1/3 x, and I have to label my line. And now I do the parent function. The parent function is also at 0, 0, but it has a slope of 1, so we'll draw that in there. Okay, so how do I describe this? This line right here is not steeper now because it has a fraction as the slope. It is actually flatter, so that's what you want to write. It is a flatter line. It's not as steep, so it's flatter, but it is also an increasing line. I didn't add that into the other ones, but I think we have to go back and tell on all of these whether it's an increasing line or a decreasing line. So what that means from left to right, is the line increasing from left to right or is it decreasing? And so this line is increasing. So there is no shift at all. It's flatter and it's increasing line. And then I think you should put no shift. So I'm kind of adding things. So you should go back and look at the others, and you need to decide these 3 things. Is it flatter or steeper? Is it increasing or decreasing? And is there a shift? All right, last 2. All right, you can try this on your own and pause it if you'd like. Here I have the slope of -2/5, and my b is 0, which means I will start this at 0, 0. And it's a -2/5. So that means I either have a -2 over +5, or I have a 2 over a -5, but not both. So I'm going to do down 2, and then to the right 5, and that would be 1 point. And if I want another point, I have to use this one, this slope, which would be up 2, and then to the left 5. So I'd have a point there. So draw a line through it. Now you can see that this is a decreasing line, so that's important to note. So we might want to go ahead and write that down. That's decreasing. And let's go ahead and graph the parent function. All right, so we're comparing it to the parent function, and we can see that it is a decreasing line. This one is decreasing. It is flatter because it has a slope that's less than 1. So it's a 2/5, so it's flatter, and then there is no shift. And there we go. All right, so last one is number 9. So write the problem down, and we'll identify the slope, and the slope is 2, and the y-intercept is -1, which means this time we're going to start our graph at 0, -1, which is going to be right there. Now my slope is 2, that means 2 over 1, so up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and I can draw a line through that and label it. So this is y equals 2x minus 1, right there. Not very, hopefully you can do better than I did. And then we'll do the parent function, which again starts at 0, and then it's a slope of 1, so we'll draw that in there. Okay, so there's 3 things we need to decide. First of all, look at the line, and is it an increasing or decreasing line? So it is increasing, so we'll write that down, increasing. And then is it steeper or flatter than the parent function? Here's the parent function, and it is steeper, so we're going to write that down. And then we want to see, is there a shift? And on this one, yes, there is. There is a shift. This one has been shifted down. So we're going to put shift down 1. Shift down 1 unit. All right, so go back on all of these and write, I think I already told you that, but I'm going to tell you again, on all of these, state whether the new function is increasing or decreasing, is it steeper or flatter than the parent function, and is it a shift up or down. And that's it for today, so I'll see you in class tomorrow and we'll do the word problems. If you'd like to try the word problems, they are on the, there they are, so number 10 and number 11. All right, have a great day.